Microphone check 212. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to It's the Bearded Man podcast with your favorite, the world's favorite bearded man. They just don't know it yet. Bobby. Today in the building, Michael Garmany.
What's happening?
Dude, give me some.
Pumped.
Dude, I'm pumped to have you today, brother.
I'm so stoked.
A lot has changed, I think, in the last year for both of us.
A lot of parallels, too.
A lot of parallels.
Mm-hmm.
Is the last time that I saw you the last podcast that we did?
Yeah. Yes.
When was the show?
Oh, wait,
Roxy?
no.
When was the show? No, it had to have been. When was your show at the Roxy? What's funny is
I don't think it's on there, but it was like a month after that. I don't know what year that. What was this?
This was last year.
It was 2019.
Yeah.
So it was probably like early April or mid-April.
No, it couldn't have been because we did. All right, so this is a weird shout out I wanted to give into the intro to this podcast is shout out to the moms in the world. Mm-hmm. I was listening to a podcast,
always,
and it will connect to you in a second.
Tell me why,
it's going to connect to you in a second.
I got time.
It's like great timing, and so I was listening to a podcast this morning called On Purpose with Jay Shetty.
I know it.
Great podcast.
Mm-hmm. Love Jay Shetty.
And I'm going to pull up my phone just to make sure I get the episode right. He had, on episode 169, he had Greg McKeown on Essentialism. Great book. Highly recommend it if you've never read it.
I have it.
You have?
I haven't listened to it yet. I have the audiobook, though.
Great. The biggest takeaway from that book is just this. Less, but better.
Right.
So it's about getting more funneled in on the things that truly matter to you and cutting off things that don't. But something they talked about today when I was walking around this morning to just get the blood flowing for the day, it talked about how once we move out of our house, that's usually for most of us 94% of the face time that we'll have with our parents. And so they spent a lot of the podcast talking about the importance of like going out of your way to pick up the phone and like have that dialogue with your parents.
Wait, so you mean up until you move from birth, up until you move out, that's 94% of the interaction for the rest of your life?
With your parents.
So the rest of your life after you move out is 6%?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
And it kind of was like a light bulb moment to me of like, damn, like, that's actually crazy to think about. And so at lunchtime, I called my mom just to like check in with her, and she's like, what do you call me for? Like thinking, of course, most times as kids, we call that ask something. And I was like, absolutely nothing. And she loved it. We texted a little bit after, and it kind of made me like, it's like it grounded me to home base of like reminding myself of, you know, there's a lot of things moving in my life and I'm trying to hustle and grind, but it's also like trying to find that balance with the parents, and especially just showing the love and gratitude. And how this all full circles is that I remember when at the Roxy show, your mother was at that show, and she approached me during the show, and it was very brief, probably no longer than 10-second interaction, but I could feel the energy and how sincere she was when she said, hey, I really loved that interview and podcast you did with Michael recently. And the way I saw it in her, being a people's person that I am, and like I could tell that was something that meant a lot to her, and it meant so much to me because I was like, man, that is so incredible that this podcast it's not just about growing numbers, and obviously it's about great meeting people like yourself and connecting, but it was so genuine to see how authentic your mom was and appreciative of it.
She's never blown smoke in her life, dude. So if she said that to you, she 100% meant it.
I love that.
And also, I didn't know you talked to her, dude. That's so dope.
Yeah. Well, you were too busy being, on stage. You were the big guy that night. You know what I'm saying?
But that's dope, man. I mean, she's literally my favorite woman on the planet, forever will be. But I'm so glad you got to meet her, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great woman.
So
I just wanted to give a shout out to the women of the world. Especially
shout
the moms.
Shout out Denise, dude.
Shout out to the moms of the world.
Shout out Denise.
Yeah, man, there's so much to talk to you today about. I feel like since that original podcast
been like over a year.
Over a year. That podcast came out in June. A lot of things have changed about you.
Which was my first podcast ever.
That was the first podcast you'd ever done?
First podcast I've ever done.
Hell yeah. I hope I set the bar high for
you took my virginity, dude. It was good, too. It wasn't no bullshit.
Yeah. I try not to... I don't want to just scratch surface. I want to dive deep on shit.
No. You got your shit together.
Yeah, I try, man. I try. And that's kind of the direction of I want this whole new podcast to go, is just getting into conversations where I felt like a lot of the old project was about warming up and like diving, which was important going through childhood. And especially I remember some of your story, like it's important to touch on how people got to where they are today, because there's a lot underneath the hood and you don't really know until you start asking the question. So I think there's importance in the storytelling aspect, but I also look more forward to this open dialogue / wherever this conversation goes is just gonna go where it 100%. Goes.
Also, yeah, like, by the way, I have said no to a lot of podcasts. Not that, like, you know, I'm the that my approval means anything.
Totally.
But fucking, you know. So I liked it last time. I had a blast. It was great. The conversation was great, and I liked that more than anything. But what was my ever fucking point? Oh, that, like, yeah, I had to get through. It only took 2 or 3, but I had to get through getting nervous on podcasts. So I'm glad we're doing this round 2 because now I think that I can be more articulate and present.
So what gets you nervous? Do you get nervous on podcasts and go on stage, or are they two different mediums?
No, I do. I mean, I get nervous doing everything, anything. Dude, it's weird. It's been like a point of contention for me with myself because part of it is definitely psychological. Like, I think I put a lot of pressure on myself, and also, like, we can get into this, and we also don't have to, but in general, like, I'm a super sensitive person. Like, I feel things a lot, and
do you keep it internalized more than you talk about it, or do you use the music?
I'm
as
pretty
a medium?
fucking vocal about it.
Yeah. I think you're gonna get real vocal with this podcast too that you got going.
I nonstop talk about my problems with anyone who listens, but I get nervous. Like, everything makes me nervous, bro. I can, like, have an interaction at the grocery store with a clerk and just be sweating after for no reason, for no fucking reason. I'll be like, did I do that right? Was I weird? Like, fucking, you know what I'm saying? Like, the internal voice. So it's that's all it is. It's just me. And I'm super comfortable with it now. But, like, dude, going on stage is a fucking nightmare. Like,
really?
It's not. I shouldn't say a fucking nightmare. The first, like, 2 weeks into a tour, it's not the first 2 weeks. I'm sorry. The first week into a tour, yeah, it sucks. I'm just like, it's so uncomfortable waiting to go on stage. And then, like, a few songs in, I get comfortable.
I could see the sitting around waiting.
But the waiting to go on stage, it's just awful, man.
Yeah. Well, you were somebody that I picked up on real quickly when Dylan started touring with you. You were always, like, running. You were always very active on tour. You were finding ways to, like, stay ahead of the curve. And I respected that because I feel like it's very easy to, and the very small scale of touring life that I've participated on, very easy to just, like, mail in the day until it's like 6-7 o'clock and then start getting your shit together.
Job's not till nighttime.
Yeah, it's a different lifestyle, man.
Well, I mean, I also have to say, like, dude, this is like a whole other just, like, metaphor and theme, but just, like, any of my disciplines or, like, habits that I built that I'm proud of are pretty much direct results of just fucking dark afflictions that I have or whatever, and, like, just having to deal with those. So, I mean, and maybe that's, like, common or whatever. I mean, I guess I could be proud of that because some people, like, will have depression or anxiety and then just suffer and just fucking not deal with it. But, like, any time that I was going through something, I would double down on some, like running. Like, I was obsessed. I think I was, like, coming off the heels of some depressive episode, and so that's why I was running like fucking crazy, because I was getting endorphins. It just made my mood better. So I was running like crazy every day on tour to try and just keep myself in a good mood, because it's so hard to sleep on tour and shit like that. So yeah, so oftentimes, like, people will be like, bro, you're fucking disciplined, and I'm just like, I don't feel that way. For me, it was like survival. Like, I think there are people out there who are just like, this is what I should do, and so they're just disciplined. They just have willpower. Yeah. For me, it was always like I was running from something, literally and figuratively. So anyway, thanks for recognizing that. But
do you still focus on the health like that?
Oh, fuck yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Like every day? You still running or what?
I don't run quite as much. That shit was like beating my legs up. Bro, I was running like 8 miles a day.
Yeah, I mean, that's bad.
You
at
can
some
do
point
it.
You have to kind of break it and take a little bit of a balance.
Yeah, it was fucking me up. Now I lift most of the time. I lift like 3 days on, 1 day off. So it's not like a weekly routine. It's just 3 days, 1 day, 3 days, 1 day.
So it's just constantly flowing.
Yeah, and then on my off days, I run.
Oh, okay.
But like on the other days, I'm lifting all the time.
Well, I saw. Were you on a bike today? Were you pedaling?
Yeah.
I saw you on your Instagram story.
Yeah, dude. That's always when I have time to fucking do the Instagram stories. But yeah, I left my fucking running shoes at my parents', so I had to hit the bike.
Tough life.
Yeah,
gotta hit the bike, dude. I mean, obviously, this is easy. One of the biggest changes since we've last hopped on a podcast is your name,
right?
The Holdup to Mike Garmany. How do you feel about that transition?
Oh, dude.
I think that was even potentially something you were already interested in when we had talked last.
Yeah, I probably talked about it because I've been thinking about doing it for a long time.
How does it feel now that this is in full swing?
It's the negative part is just that there's a lot of tedious work to do. It's not like starting over, but it's in a way like
it's definitely
it's
to a certain
kind of
extent.
starting over. Yeah. But dude, creatively, like so energized. It's weird. Like I've told people this. I think maybe not on a podcast, but in conversations, I fucking hate songwriting, and I think it's the thing I'm best at. But it was such a grueling, laborious fucking task for me. I hated it. It was like I knew I could write a good song, but it took so much work. Whereas people around me would just like do it super easy and loved it. And ever since I made the transition and retired the Holdup, it has not been that way. It's been so easy.
Well, because you're basing it off of a past track record, so you're comparing yourself to old records and probably somewhat of a box that all of your audience is expecting a certain style of music that
I was compromising.
Yeah.
And I think that was what was making it such a daunting task, because I wasn't fully free to do whatever the hell I wanted. And it's more fun when you can do whatever the hell you want.
So now you just feel like completely you can do whatever you want, create whatever you want.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. So yes, creatively, dude, I'm super excited just to like build a whole new brand that's more authentic, to who I am now. Because I did that shit for 10 years, and you change and grow out of your brand.
Totally. I mean, I did Purpose in the Youth for 3.5, and I feel like the timing to transition to this couldn't have been better. Like I feel so much more confident when I'm like presenting this podcast to the world, and I still felt confident with the old one, but I feel like this is so much more me. Like,
what is it about it?
The branding, easy. The branding of It's the Bearded Man. It just feels like totally me, and that's not me trying to. I don't think I'm some hot shit or like some cool guy or like.
No,
I like. This is the best part. I like throw around. Yo, I'm the world's favorite bearded man. It's literally just like, it's a fucking joke. It's like a joke, but it's a brand, and it's also like funny how people take it seriously.
Yep.
But I just feel more confident behind the mic with this show. Not more confident, but I just felt like the right transition. I had done the other thing for so long, consistently. I was getting burnt out. And now I've created this to go down a path where there is no content schedule. There is no certain show to expect. Like there's a lot of commonalities. There's a lot of guest shows. There's a lot of solo pods. But other than that, I just feel good. Like this is going to be whatever I want it to become. And I just feel clear.
Yeah. Even with the branding in the last one, you kind of boxed yourself in a little bit. I mean, it was a great topic.
Totally.
But like,
youth.
Yeah.
I kind of screwed myself a little bit. But it was
literally
but
like
in the moment of launching it and the reason of why I started, the intent was totally aligned. I was 22. I just graduated college. I mean, I still feel very young at 26, but when I was 22, it felt like this was my first time launching something. I was thinking big picture, but I wasn't thinking about, I didn't really know branding wise.
Right.
It was such a good learning, like that vehicle of 3.5 years that I was in primed me and prepped me for everything of where I'm at now and where I'm going with this show. So it kind of just, somebody recently asked me on a podcast, like, do you have any regrets, or like, has anybody like said anything to you like, oh, you shouldn't have stopped? Nobody said anything. Like I feel like I've only had more people encourage me. And I just feel more refreshed. I feel like this is more me, where that was something bigger than me. I feel like this is me. Like just, It's the Bearded Man podcast. This is me. This is what you're going to get. If you don't like it, see you later. So
better not shave that fucking beard though,
absolutely
dude.
Not. Absolutely
Do you
never
ever
shave
feel
it.
like
no,
you want to?
I'm all in.
Okay.
I'm all in.
I was going to say,
I go to my
that's going to
barber
be rough for you if you're not in the mood to have a beard.
Nah, it's this length of where it's at. It's gotten a little hectic during COVID because clearly barbershops were closed. So it was getting super like nasty and gnarly. I mean, of course, I shampooed it, but like a barber, I literally see a barber every 2 weeks.
Couldn't keep it trimmed.
Yeah, I couldn't keep it trimmed.
Yeah.
This barber does a fantastic job. It makes me feel so good when I walk out of that barbershop that I feel unstoppable.
Looks better than ever, man.
Yeah. So I appreciate that.
Yeah,
I appreciate
no doubt.
that.
No doubt.
The Michael Garmany Podcast. Am I also pronouncing your last name right?
You are, actually. Most
Garmany.
people do not.
Great, because fun facts, when I was in high school, I butchered people's names. I was the morning announcement guy my senior year, and I butchered so many names. I would flip through the scripts ahead of time just to like see what was on that morning, and I'd see a name, and I'd ask a couple of the ladies that worked in the office, like, hey, do you know how to pronounce this? Do you know how to pronounce? Nobody knew.
Did people come up to you and be like, yo, motherfucker,
bro,
my name?
I would finish the announcements, a phone would ring. I would like be announcing like the sports, like the basketball team last night. Johnny Smith hit a 3 for
right
in overtime. This happened with this soccer play, this club. I'd have teachers call down the office. Yeah, could you have him go back on the intercom? He mispronounced one of my students' names.
Shut the hell up.
This is how you pronounce it. So
would you actually have to do that?
I'd go back
That's
on
so
the
ridiculous.
intercom, and I would butcher it probably a second time.
Who there needed to be someone there to tell you don't have to fucking do that. Fuck these teachers.
Nah, it's just that's what I had to do it.
That's hilarious.
18 and young. I had little small chin strap.
Oh,
very
tight,
thin.
dude.
So I wasn't.
Oh my god.
I wasn't ready
I'm
to.
so glad that you have the beard. Then I'm so glad you don't have a chin strap right now, dude.
Yeah,
The chin strapped man.
Yeah, the not those.
That's not as good branding.
No, not as good.
So you got comfortable on a mic, long before you did this.
I guess that was like kind of my taste of a mic before really getting into it.
A little bit. I mean,
the first true taste was in Dylan's basement. I recorded a song.
Oh, really?
It was called. Well, my artist name was B Hobes. Never saw the day of light, but I tried to sing and it just didn't.
We'll unearth it.
Yeah.
If the session's still there.
So yeah. Anyway, not about me today. It's about you. Podcast. Why did you start it?
Because like any proper artist, I got this ego that delusionally believes that I have things to say.
You do have things to
rant.
say.
I have things to say, but the delusional part is that they're of value to anyone. But okay,
I love it.
Realistically, there have been a lot of people who have been like, "Yo, like super relatable. Thank you for like saying that shit." After the first episode, but I got to take that with a grain of salt. I got a fan base. There's a lot of people who are gonna love anything I do, even if it's shit. But I just did it because I do like rant a lot, and fuck, dude, it's so hard for me to like say. I try to be like ruthlessly humble. I'm not. But I try to be. So it's uncomfortable rather for me to say that like I think that I have things to say that a lot of people don't talk about that are useful to people.
Totally.
Because I'm a pretty like it's really easy for me to get in a room with people I just met and make them uncomfortable because I think it's okay to say like super personal shit that you're not supposed to tell people when you first meet. So I just happen to be really like comfortable saying very private and personal things about myself. And I just remember having those experiences, hearing other people say things like that on podcasts and go, oh my God, I'm not the only one. And that's such like a powerful feeling, like where you think like you have these thoughts in your head that are not necessarily nice thoughts or they're thoughts that are embarrassing. And you think you're the only one because nobody ever talks about it. And then somebody talks about it and you feel great. So I was like, oh shit, I could do that for other people.
Totally.
So I was just like, fuck it. I'll do a podcast and talk about whatever I want. So the first episode was that week that I decided to record the first episode. I happened to be in this thing with a girl and I was in a position where I was feeling very insecure about it. So I was like, fuck it. First episode is love and insecurity. And I just ranted about that.
I love it.
And then the second episode which is not out yet, is why I stopped drinking and doing drugs. And I just go into fucking mad detail. I mean, the first episode I talked about how I just stopped watching porn and like trying to like jack off less. So I, no bars. No holds barred.
Okay. So First off, I want to.
I have watched porn since though.
Great, we're gonna hit that. We're definitely hitting that. That's a bullet I have for today's topic of conversation.
Right,
so don't
tight,
you worry.
Tight.
But I disagree with your statement about you're not supposed to be open with people when you first meet them. I think that is a person that is closed-minded, and if they judge you or like show some hesitation towards you because of things you've said, obviously, as long as it's not like something way out of left field, but if you're like pretty open with them, I think that's, for me, my best way when I meet somebody now is I just go deep. I don't want to just scratch the surface and be like another person that like you got to meet today. Like I want to dive deep because I think you can get into a really interesting conversation quick. And I learned a lot of that through podcasting. So I think that's also a skill that I feel very fortunate to have, is having that ability to just be confident and ask like, how are you feeling today? Or like, what's like one of your biggest bucket goal items right now? Like, it sounds so cheesy and so corny, but like you'll catch people off by attention. You'll catch their attention if you're like, wait, what? You just asked me about my bucket list? Like everyone here is raging and like trying to hook up. But
it's way more interesting. And
way
people
more
love to talk about themselves.
Totally.
For the record, I fucking agree. In fact, like people who don't want to go deep, like I'll be polite, but I don't really want to talk to you.
Yeah.
Like if you're not comfortable going deep, then maybe we're just not the kind of people who should be friends.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying the old paradigm and the way that a lot of people still are is they're just like, let's stick to the surface. Let's
Totally.
talk about the fucking weather, sports, or whatever the fuck. And I'm just like, dude, no.
Yeah,
I have
know.
no interest in talking people who want to keep it on the surface.
I know.
I
think it's really important that you started a podcast because you're a great example of the type of person that I was looking for when I started podcasting. Was like, I have a platform where people like yourself, who people know you for your music, or there's a graphic designer, people know them for their design, or there is a chef, everybody knows them for their food, but they don't get to hear the story and the rawness. And so I think it's really important for people like you who have a fan base, who already know you for a certain product, aka music. Now they have another medium, another outlet for them to get to know you, which makes them even bigger fans of you.
Right.
Which also is incredible, because what I love most, and which I'm sure you would agree after just doing one episode, when I do these solo podcasts, it's a therapy session for me.
Dude, it's cathartic.
I'm literally laughing in the mic. I'm like, if anybody's listening right now, thank you for sticking with me, because this is literally a pure therapy session.
The first 5 minutes of episode 1, I talk about that.
Yeah.
I talk about, I woke up this morning and was feeling really insecure and frustrated. And I was like, oh my God, I'm going to go just vomit it all on a microphone for a podcast. Yeah, 100%. It's cathartic, dude.
Yeah.
That's tight. I'm glad that you're having that experience.
Well, I think, too, it's also important for people to find a medium to vocalize their feelings. Like, you've had music for 10 plus years,
right,
without even knowing it or realizing it. There's people out there right now that have no medium to express themselves. And so what do? They let these thoughts go fucking wild in their mind all day long. They go to voice it to one friend. They shoot them down, start talking shit. What do you mean you're like hurt over that girl? Like, come on, bro. Like, stop being a pussy. Like, you know what I'm saying? So, which I don't agree with that said comment.
Of course.
But I think it's really important to have a medium. And I think it's going to be incredibly valuable. Even though you're one episode in, I guarantee you, if you stay consistent with this thing's going to be just as important to your music as podcast is to some of the people that listen.
I would even venture to say that people like you and I are saying things for the people who can't say them on a microphone. You know what I'm saying? That was my whole point, is that, yeah, people who don't have an outlet, who will never start a podcast and won't have a way to express these things that are bouncing around in their head, like, we can say them for them, and if they hear it, they will feel better about it.
Yeah.
I mean, I literally...
They'll scratch their head and go, wait, I actually have been thinking
that's
this. Like,
every message that I've got is they're like, dude, I feel like you're in my head. And I'm like, dude, it's because we're all the same fucking species. Like,
Yeah.
Like, hate to break it to you, we're not all that unique.
Let's talk
like, we
about
all
it.
have like pretty much the same experience.
Yeah.
With shades of gray.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I've had that experience. Like, had wild shifts even in my I mean, I'm not smart enough to really know what I'm talking about, but in my neurochemistry, like, just hearing someone say something on a podcast and then like feel my mood, everything change.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
It's crazy.
A small interaction can trigger a domino effect. For something you say to somebody or something that somebody says to you can trigger a whole domino effect. Literally, I linked up with a buddy on Sunday. I had podcasts with him probably in 2018. His name's Matt Como, video guy, extremely talented filmmaker. And we were talking about diets, and it was like a light bulb moment. And literally for the last 48 hours, I just completely changed my diet around, and I'm going full throttle for like weeks, months to come now. I changed my workout routines, and he doesn't even know it. I'm waiting, like, I'm going to wait a couple.
Say?
It wasn't even something he said. It was more of the way I was looking at the things I was eating. And it was just, I had been putting too much carbs in my system. I was eating clean, but I was adding way too much like buffalo sauce and honey mustard. And those calories, you don't even realize it. But if you take a look at the back and it's like 2 tablespoons, 90 calories, you're like, that's not much. Think about how much we averagely will pour on like a sandwich. And I do that twice a dude.
Bro, I have a whole thing about this.
Yeah. So
and I just experienced it.
Let's hear it.
So I did the carnivore diet for like, which is just, I don't know if you've heard of it.
Of course. I heard Joe Rogan. I've heard it.
Right. And I'm not against it, despite my results. So I just literally just ate meat, salt, water, and coffee. And I don't think you're supposed to have coffee, but there's levels to it. Anyway, I did it for a few months. Got, I don't know about shredded, but the more shredded than I've ever been.
You did it consistent, no hiccups.
Oh, fucking consistent.
It must have been an expensive diet to maintain.
Yeah, but
Kind
I
of.
buy pretty fucking expensive groceries anyway. I spend all my money on my groceries because I'm trying to fucking be healthy, I'm trying to I literally have Whole Foods delivered like every other fucking day. Yeah. And I don't do anything else.
It's a good if you can swing it, it's honestly an investment in
Right, if you
yourself.
can.
So I can rationalize anything like that.
So anyway, I got fucking shredded. It was great. But then I got my blood work done a couple weeks ago, and my cholesterol is literally dangerously fucking high.
Really?
Yeah, and the whole thing is
Was
like...
that the salt?
There was... No, it would be like... Well, they used to say that cholesterol, dietary cholesterol, so like cholesterol like in eggs or like animal products will influence your blood cholesterol. That was the old thing. Like, don't eat... That's why low-fat foods were like really marketed as good for you, and they're not fucking good for you because you need fat in your diet. And this whole paradigm shift has just happened in the last few years that like fat is not fucking bad for you. You need fat.
The right fats and a good balance of it.
Yes and no. I mean, like, as far as like the new medical research has shown that like saturated fats are not bad for you. But I thought that was going to be okay. So I was like, fuck yeah. All right. Like, as many eggs as I want. I'm going to eat like a pound of bacon a day. I'm going to have fucking like New York strips every fucking night or ribeyes. And I literally did. And either I was doing it wrong or like everybody's biology is different and I ate too much meat and my cholesterol went through the fucking roof. The problem is I didn't get a baseline before the diet. So maybe I had cholesterol issues before.
Yeah.
But anyway, so whatever. But the point is I lost a lot of weight, and before that I had tried like eating other diets and I couldn't like fucking lose fat. I was working out all the time. And I think the reason that this diet worked, even though it wasn't good for me, is like you said, I was only eating fucking meat and salt. There wasn't any of the added things. I couldn't put sauce on my food. I couldn't add a side of this. I couldn't add avocado to my shit. You know what I'm saying? I was eating whole foods, whole ingredients, and very simplified. And I think there's two things happening there. One, like, we didn't evolve to have all these like super highly engineered, amazing, flavorful, multi-textured, multi-flavored foods to where it's so hyper stimulating for our brain because it's so tasty that we eat past satiation. Like, we eat more than we're supposed to. So when you take your diet down to just fucking meat, your body gets the calories it needs, and you don't want to eat anymore because it's not fun.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Totally.
You got the fuel, and your body's like, no, I don't want another bite. And you don't overeat ever because you keep your shit simple. Now, that said, I don't think you have to do the carnivore diet to do that. You could just eat whole basic ingredients. Just use salt and pepper. Don't use sauces. Don't have more than like 3 ingredients to a meal, and you'll probably fucking lose weight. Super basic.
Yeah.
But you have to be willing to give up the stimulation of food because food's like, dude, our whole culture, almost everyone I know eats food for entertainment.
Yeah.
Everyone. I do it too.
Yeah.
I mean, and I don't think it's supposed to be entertainment. Or at least I don't think our bodies evolved to keep up with it.
Totally.
You know what I'm saying? It's just supposed to be fuel.
Well, I think with dieting just in general, you have to find what works for you. Because I have friends, the easiest, when I try to convince myself like they're doing this diet, it'll work. It has to work for me.
Right.
The easiest way that I completely pull back and go, you're full of shit, that's not actually the truth, is when I have friends that I know that can have a full large pizza tonight, tomorrow night, the night after that, and they don't gain an ounce.
Right.
And so that is just...
They're called genetic assholes.
So
that's what we call them.
I love that.
I actually shout out this girl named Allison. I stole it from her. She is a genetic asshole.
I love
and
that.
I was like, yo, you literally don't work out? And she's like, no, I eat whatever I want. And she was like, I'm a genetic asshole. So anyway, sorry.
Yeah, I mean,
that's
just a great example, though. It's like you have to find what works for you. And so I think I was trying some other stuff that just wasn't working for me, but I was trusting that it would. Didn't. And now I'm just...
you got to do everything in practice.
Totally.
So why I did the carnivore diet.
I'm totally going down that path.
No,
but
don't do it.
I don't want to go too far. I don't want to go too far off the podcast because I want two things I want to touch on. The fact that you posted that clip got me so fucking fired up for this podcast.
Really?
Today, because it takes so much to just share what that little soundbite had, where you're talking about, quote unquote, I don't want to waste people's time or my own time just because I want to have sex, which I think there's a lot of people that's like their number one fucking goal. And as long as they're having sex, they don't really give a shit about anything else that's happening in their life, which is, it's just, yeah.
Right.
It's,
it's hard. It's gold. Built into our DNA. I don't blame them. But
I want to get your take on that. And I also want to get your take on porn.
Okay.
Let me paint the picture because they can't visually see it. He just fucking turns back, grabs his water, sips it like he's about to go down.
And my legs are crossed. And I did a really like feminine, like,
oh my God.
Little sip.
Let it fly, brother.
Okay, so the sex thing, I think what I was referring to is that I would say, in my experience, most of the time when you're trying to have casual sex with someone, one person it's not casual for. Most of the time, someone is more interested in a relationship. It's so rare that you find a person that you're attracted to is attracted to you, and you both just happen to only want a sexual relationship with each other. Sometimes, almost every time.
Or it starts that way, and then somebody slips, and then it's just downhill.
Yeah, or I think even most of the time when you think it starts that way, someone's just lying. They just want to be. They don't want to be vulnerable and tell you that they're actually interested. Okay. You know what I'm saying? So that's just it's fucking hard, man. So like we're programmed to have sex, but I was just like, fuck, I don't want to waste someone's time. Almost every time I end up having casual sex, I find out that they had feelings for me, and like I'm just leading them on when they could be going after someone that wants to date them. And as well, the time that I'm putting into that casual sexual relationship, I'm not putting into finding someone who could be my actual partner, life partner. So that was what I meant there. And like, we all got to have sex, and everybody's guilty of it. Like, you know, like of like, like seeking casual sex. And I'm not even against that at all. I was just saying that I kept finding myself in that position, and I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. Not that I won't ever do it again. I probably will. You know what I'm saying? I'm not perfect, but I just was like, fuck, I don't want to waste people's time.
And but here's the thing though. I think especially somebody like you, who I think is just extremely creative and ambitious, that it just is something that can easily be part of your life, where it's like something, it'll like mean something to you, but not to the scale that it might mean to somebody else.
Right.
But it allows you to flip on a switch, have fun, and then you go right back to like, all right, time to get into the music, time to get into podcasting. Like, I think that's just something that is found in a lot of successful people, regardless of industry, is you're just so focused on yourself that like the idea of having a relationship is not the greatest timing, but like if it's something casual and everyone's mutually having fun, why not?
Exactly, bro. And that's why I joke all the time. I was like, dude, if I never meet the girl who like I actually want to marry, I'm straight up just going to hire escorts, bro. I'm going to move to where it's legal or not. Just do it on the low here. Yeah. And I'm just going to hire like real high-end escorts who get all the STD tests and I, you know what I'm saying? And just have like sex with them, because then it's transactional and their feelings aren't hurt. Yeah. That's a whole other moral quandary, because I wonder how many people are actually like happy, fulfilled professional escorts. But anyway, successful people. Exactly, bro. Like, it's super, super rare that I find someone that I want to date. I pretty much know immediately whether I'm interested in them seriously or not. And most of the time I'm not. But I'm interested in them physically, and I like spending time with them, but I just know down the road I'm never going to marry them, so why would I waste their time? Even if I still like hanging out with them, you know?
Is there certain things you're looking for that are, or...
Oh, yeah. There's a lot. I'm like...
That's another podcast?
I'm extremely picky. Yeah, that could go on for like a long time. I got a long list of things that I want.
Okay. Fair.
But that was the problem, is that like I'm fucking busy, dude. I need to have sex.
Do you?
So I'm told. I think so. I don't know. I want to have sex.
I'll tell you right now, when I was in my main Uber, here's the thing. Want and need is different. So I just want to clear that
100% agreed.
Before I go there.
Yes.
I think we all want to have sex. That's fucking given for sure, guy and gal. But I will say this. When I was in my Uber days, I went for extended periods of time without having sex, because I was just so head down on myself, trying to fucking build a brand, trying to figure it out. So I learned I actually don't need it. Yes, I want it. But is not having sex going to disrupt my day? Is it going to disrupt me from chasing? So
the opposite.
So I had to recategorize like the importance of things in my life, and that made its way to the bottom, as though, even though I knew that, quote unquote, it's not the masculine thing that I'm supposed to be out in my 20s just hooking up with chicks.
No.
I knew that in the short term, people might be like, oh, this guy's like not hooking up any girls. But in the long term, it was going to set me up for a career and a fulfilled life.
No one's saying that about you. Everyone's thinking about themselves.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
No,
there might be some fucking haters.
No one's judging you.
Come get me, baby.
Look, let me clarify. What I mean by need to have sex is the need for human touch and affection.
Totally.
And I think sex is just like a far end of that.
Totally.
So that's what I mean. And honestly, I've gone long ass stretches without having sex. It's fine. Like you need to come, you need to have an orgasm, then masturbate, whatever.
Which leads us into
porn.
Yeah. But I don't want to cut you out.
But hold on. Yeah. My
please,
point
please.
was that let's say it takes me because here's the deal. I'm not gonna, and I don't know if everyone's like this. Actually, I know a lot of people who are not like this. I'm not even going to get into a monogamous relationship if I don't think there's a chance I might marry this girl. So if I look at them and I'm like, ooh, I like you, but I know I'll never marry you, I won't even fucking date them, because what's the point? I'm just going to be in a relationship with them monogamously. Yeah. They're going to get close and I'm going to break their heart eventually. Fuck that.
Do you believe that sometimes it can grow into like I can think of previous relationship, I don't even say relationships, but previous things I had with girls where it started as just like we're hooking up, but then that feeling grows and then it becomes something stronger, which then it could. So have you ever thought that maybe in this moment
like being open to it,
not thinking too far ahead, not asking?
Impossible for me.
Yeah.
When I was younger, yes, I'd be more open to it, but I know I know myself really well.
Yeah, but I think a relationship can grow on you to something bigger.
Agreed.
But the only way you're gonna find is if you give it. You have to water the plant. Okay. You have to plant the seed.
I'm not meeting girls and going like, I know I'm gonna marry you. That never happens. It's just more often I know I'm never gonna marry you. I just know, like, you can look at people, like, I can show you a girl right now and you'll go, yeah, I would never marry her. Like, after a conversation with her or whatever.
Yeah, I need the personality. Looks.
No.
Looks
yeah, I'm not talking about just looks. Yeah,
Gotcha.
yeah. No, personality. Absolutely. To me, they're equal parts of the equation.
Totally.
I think both.
I think the looks pull you in and the personality will keep 100%. You forever.
And what I have said is I'm willing to compromise on the looks, not willing to compromise on the personality.
Amen, brother.
There's a moving spectrum. I'll go between like 7 and 10 or whatever. On the looks, personality's got to be a 10.
Wait a second. He said the looks has to be between a 7 and 10. It's still pretty bold, dude.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm a fucking asshole.
No, you're not.
I'm vain. But at least that's a fluctuating scale, is what I'm saying. Oh, you know what? I'll go from 6.5 to 10.
Round up. It's 7.
Whatever. 7 to 10. The personality got to be a 10, no matter what.
Got to be a 10.
But anyway, my point is I know what I want, and I pretty quickly talking to someone know if it's just never going to work.
Yeah.
And I don't want to fucking pursue that and then them just get closer and closer, and then it's harder to break it off later. But so I'm in this position where it's like I'm a busy motherfucker because I got all these things going on, but I don't want to like date these girls so that we have a sexual relationship. So what do I do? That was my dilemma. So I don't know. I'm still in that dilemma, but
cool. I love it.
Porn.
Yes.
I think generally my opinion is that it's mostly a bad thing, but like anything else, like I think alcohol is probably bad, but like I think it's fine if you use it in moderation.
Okay.
And the reason I think this is because porn is essentially, I might have just said this maybe I didn't. Porn is essentially edited. It's like the food, dude. We've distilled everything down to this perfect process where it is so hyper stimulating. There's these angles that you're never going to recreate in real life, and it's all perfect angles. There's the lighting, which is perfect. The girls got makeup, and their bodies are specifically chosen to be like hyper stimulating. You can literally fucking search for the girl that you're in the mood to fuck. You can't do that in real life. You can literally, tonight I want a brunette.
Unless you're Bradley Cooper.
Right. Yeah. Most of us can't. And even that's bad when you have access to that many girls, I think. I think it's damaging that you can literally be like, I want a girl with a fucking East Coast accent. You know what I'm saying? I want a Latina with blonde hair. I want an Asian girl with red hair. Like, it's not realistic. So when you're like watching porn that regularly and you're like that stimulated all the time, I think it desensitizes you to real sex. Because I remember being a kid and like if I just saw the outline of a boob, I was like, oh my God. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? If I saw a nipple through a t-shirt, I was like, this is special. You know what I'm saying? This is great. And I don't think that's supposed to go away. I think it only went away as I got older because everything's hypersexualized and I started watching porn all the time.
Yeah.
And then I was no longer as turned on by girls in real life. And I think it just raises your visual standards. Like you need such high visual stimulation, and that could just be me.
No, I think you're actually speaking. What you're saying is probably absolutely true. I think there's probably research behind this that would agree. That I think
there's a link between porn and depression for sure.
Yeah, because I think I completely agree with expectations of like what you're thinking you're going to be walking into, and that's just not the reality.
100%.
Yeah, I don't know. It's an interesting thing. I've even tried to like cut back and not watch it as much because I just feel like it's not needed. Mm-hmm. I'm convincing myself I need it so that I'm not wasting my time.
Me too, dude.
Chasing.
I looked at it as a prescription. I was like, I'm an ambitious guy. I got to get out my sexual desires. Porn is the prescription that the doctor prescribed, so I don't waste my time chasing girls that I have no business chasing.
Totally.
You know what I'm saying?
Totally.
I looked at it that way for a while, and I think that everyone's different. If you can do that and then have a healthy sexual relationship post that, like when you actually have a real life relationship, fine, watch your porn. I'm not judging anyone for watching porn. I'm just looking at it in relationship to my life and going, fuck, this feels bad. I don't think this is good. You know? And to be completely transparent, I started having sex with girls that I was really attracted to, and after a few times, I wouldn't be able to stay like completely hard. And I would go like, what? Like, this doesn't make sense. I'm turned on right now. And I was just like, what is going on? I was like, dude, maybe my dick is like addicted to my hand, like, and porn, you know, like this special cocktail, the perfect, whatever. Yeah. And then it's like, so anyway, I don't know. I just had all those thoughts. And so I have watched porn since I quit. But I think I'm going to quit again for a little while. I'm just going to, you know, as much as I can quit, I will quit. But if I'm going to watch porn, I'll watch porn, whatever it is.
I love your transparency and your ability to just fucking be open, bro.
Dude, thank you so much. But hold on. This is this like one little, what is it called? An anecdote that I just remembered that I don't think I've ever told anybody. There's this meme years ago. You know how Drake gets ragged on for being like the soft in his feelings guy?
Totally.
There's a meme that I saw, and it was a Pornhub search, and it said personality in the search, and it said when Drake watches porn. And when I saw that, I thought it was funny because I was like, okay, witty, it's clever. But I was like, but that's me. Like, I literally am more like into watching porn when the girl like is talking and she has a personality. And so I was like, they're like fucking making fun of me right now. I was like, what's wrong with that? I want some personality in my porn. Like, but you just want a fucking fuck doll? But anyway, so
I'm aligned with you there. It was, like I said, when I saw the first clip and this was the intro to your podcast, I was like, oh, Mike's not fucking around with this podcast. He's just going to let it fly just share. Yeah. And I had seen some people commenting like, you literally said everything that's running through my mind.
Yeah, man. That's because that's my ultimate aim, is to make people feel less alone with their thoughts. Because I know we're all thinking mostly the same shit.
Definitely.
And I think people don't talk about a lot of it because it's just like uncomfortable or fear of judgment or whatever the fucking reason is. But I guess I'm not afraid of being judged.
That's a very good skill to have. And I think that energy inspires other people to live their life similarly, where they go, I actually don't need to be living my life based on what everyone else is doing.
Right.
When I think back to high school days and even like the first couple of years of college, I thought I had to follow some structure because that's what everybody else was doing. And then I realized I don't have to go this path at all. I could go out and create my own, which I think is similarly to the way we think. We are such products of our environments. It's actually mind-boggling to me. Like, we are truly products of our environments. I've cut back. First off, right now, I'm 66 days without any booze. But a big help has been living with Dylan and Steve. My two roommates who don't drink. Dylan never has. Steve once in a blue moon. But because
you had cut back a lot, though, last time I talked to you.
I had. I've cut
You're having like a drink in the evening sometimes.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so like the last 3.5 years, it's been a full transition of like went from raging on the weekends, partying, college days, to then just like one night a week, probably like on a Saturday or Sunday, like to like you crush this week, have a nice glass of wine. I would treat myself, get a fucking bottle of wine, pint of Ben and Jerry's, full send. But then even recently now, 66 days without it.
And?
Hitting the best 6 to 8 weeks of my life strides.
Really?
Easy.
Specifics. What do you notice? What's different?
Mental clarity. So much more efficient with my time. I'm already super tight with my time, but because I now work for Liquid IV, it's a Monday through Friday gig, right? 9 to 6. Now that I wanted to get back into podcasting, getting into creating, I needed to have the time and energy after working hours and on the weekends to do this.
Right.
Recently started throwing
That's what it is, dude. When you need that extra energy, you start cutting out the bullshit. That's what happened with me.
Started throwing myself there, getting out into the LA dating scene. That's going to take time and energy. And on top of that, just trying to build like true community. Like I joined a running club recently, went there, knew nobody. Now I'm going back this Saturday for the third time and have
dope,
it's like
dude.
Great. I have
So
like a
stoked for you.
community. Started just like going to parties and stuff where I know nobody and making it a mission to go up and introduce myself to everybody.
Mm-hmm.
But because the booze isn't involved, I am so much more in control of my thoughts and my actions that I leave knowing like I fucking crushed it.
Mm-hmm.
It's
And
so,
you were yourself.
I was myself.
Uninhibited.
It's so and I sometimes I have been feeling like I'm the highest energy in the room still without it.
Right.
And so there's been times where in the past you go into those environments where you don't know anybody, so you just like blend in with the crowd, liquor up.
Yep.
1-2 drinks goes to 4
It is a
5.
social lubricant.
Yeah. And so I'm seeing the benefits of not having it. I'm going for 100 days straight and then we'll reassess. But
A lot of people have been, I mean, that's like kind of a trending thing now. A lot of people are calling like sobriety a superpower, dude. Because you got to deal with reality all the fucking time. You don't get a break.
yeah.
You just got to fucking deal with whatever's happening. You don't get to numb up. you
Yeah.
know? And that builds a muscle that you don't build.
You know, it's been my numbing up
Huh.
meditation.
And how's that working for you?
Incredible.
Dude, I'm so fucked. I think I'm one of the only people I know who's like broken enough that meditation doesn't work. Bro, I did meditation 20 minutes a day, 20 minutes twice a day for 4 months. Nothing.
Come on.
I was proud of myself for sitting there, but that's it. That's the only benefit I got. I swear to fucking God,
I'm the
dude.
only one that's broken enough.
Dude, there's something. I'm not kidding when I say this. My literal theory, this is not a bit, is that I'm so fucked up. That part that meditation helps or fixes is so broken in me that I need way more meditation, and that's why I'm not getting any benefits.
You got to stay consistent.
I think I'm so
Dude,
ADD that I have to do way more.
I've been doing this shit for over 4 years now.
Really?
And I feel like I haven't even scratched the surface of it.
Really?
4 years, bro.
Are you losing yourself when you meditate? Ever? For moments?
Not really.
Okay. So we're not
I feel, yeah, I don't know how to describe it. I do it at a perfect time of the day where I think it's the most optimal time to do it, which is right after I finish working out and showering. So the first thing I do every morning is work out. Then I shower. Mm-hmm. And then now that's like that state of mind because my blood has been flowing.
Mm-hmm.
But
Got the endorphins.
Got the endorphins in, but now I'm bringing it back down to get into work mode. And so that allows me to set intention for the day. And so in the morning when I'm listening to music and getting the blood flowing, I have a lot of thoughts going on in my mind.
Right.
But it's so early in the morning. I'm not looking at my phone. I don't check social media for the first 3 hours of the day. I'm just in my fucking
You're
thoughts.
better than all of us.
I'm just, hey, it's taking
No,
practice.
you are.
It's just discipline.
I did it for a little bit.
But by the time I sit down and meditate, I feel like I'm putting intention for the day. And I've been awake so that I've tried it where I wake up and meditate for the first 5-10 minutes. Can't do it. Makes me want to fall asleep. But yeah, I feel like I'm operating on another level right now. And I'm just like, every day I'm hustling, bustling.
I'm
like,
stoked. I'm going to be honest. I thought you were pretty fucking sharp last time. So I think that the difference is you're mostly like are more like obvious to you. You know what I'm saying? And I don't see you on a day to day, but I see you fucking killing it. But I've been seeing you like step by step kind of, through Instagram and shit. But I thought you were pretty like always a pretty on it guy.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not trying to make it sound like I was coming from a place where I was boozing every night of the week and then I am where I am now. That's the thing. I was already somebody that was disciplined and barely drinking to then now completely cutting it. Even that change has been like a light bulb epiphany of like,
So dope.
look how much more productive I am, how much more conversational I am with strangers. Like, dude, it's just like.
And how old do you know?
26.
Took you a second.
Well, I was
weird.
gonna flip it and say take a guess, but I was like, I'm not gonna play that game right now.
Thank you so much. You know what's so fucking funny about that? You're 26. My line every time, mostly with girls, when I say how old are you and they make you guess, I'm like, you're under 25 because no one over 25 makes you guess their age. So it's hilarious that you're a year over 25 and you didn't make me guess.
Wow,
that's the difference.
That's a good one.
I always tell them that. I was like, you're fucking under 25. Because that's a young 20s game.
Yeah, it kind of gets old at some point.
Guess. I don't give a fuck.
How old do you think I am?
I don't give a fuck.
Yeah,
just tell me.
That's like in high school. You texting a girl for the first time. Oh, I'm a freshman. Oh, you're a sophomore. Ooh.
Yeah. It
1 year difference. Ooh.
Whatever. Right.
How's the sober life for you? Still?
No, yeah. Yeah, I'm in like 5 years or so. I don't know. It's
5 years.
Yeah.
Any liquor? Or
Nothing.
booze?
No.
Weed?
Nothing.
Drugs?
Just caffeine.
5 years.
Yeah, and I'm trying to quit caffeine right now.
Why the caffeine?
Because my sleep is fucked. I'm like just
Well, how much coffee you drinking in a day?
not that much, dude. Not that much. I think I'm really, really sensitive, and I metabolize caffeine potentially really slowly because there are people like that. You can have caffeine in the morning and it'll still interrupt your sleep at night. Yeah, so I'm just cutting out all the shit. I had caffeine today because today was like a really long day and I had slept okay. I didn't care if I slept like shit tonight. I'll take some nights off of good sleep. But yeah, insomniac to the point where it was just like making my life miserable. So I was like, all right, fuck it. So anyway, but yeah, caffeine is my favorite thing in the whole fucking world. So
Insomniac is something really interesting to me because I feel very fortunate that when I put my head to the pillow, I'm probably sleeping. If I'm intentionally not watching Netflix and I'm like, I tell myself, yo, it's time to go to sleep. 5 minutes.
Yeah, I'm glad that you said that you feel fortunate because you are fucking fortunate, dude.
So what causes you not to sleep?
I don't
Are your
know.
thoughts running crazy?
Yeah, I mean, it's been an ongoing battle for years, but it comes and goes.
What time do you wake up every morning?
It's been, interestingly, the last few nights that I have slept well, I've been waking up at like 10.
Okay.
Before that, I was
what time do you try to go to sleep?
I'm usually like, honestly, in bed by 10:30.
Interesting. Have you ever tried getting up earlier?
Yes, I've tried it all. I've tried literally fucking everything. I don't think there's a more experienced insomniac than me on the planet. I've tried everything. I've taken Xanax and Ambien. I've taken them both and stayed up through it before in the past. That said, it got worse after I started the carnivore diet. I think something happened there. Because before I was prone to insomnia, but if I was in a controlled environment, 90% of the time, I'd sleep 8 hours. But if like I heard one like noise, it would wake me up, a light sleeper, shit like that. But anyway, yeah, it's a fucking nightmare. But on the other hand, I'm so fucking good at being tired now. Like I used to drag ass when I was tired. I was such a bitch. I wouldn't want to do anything. I would just like be like, no, I'm tired. I didn't sleep well. I'm not doing shit. Now I just power through. I do anything like on no sleep, which is bad.
Not necessarily.
But it's helpful when I'm in those moments where I can't fucking sleep. And is there a pause? Can I pee real quick? I gotta pee really bad. I'm sorry. My bad.
Pick up right where we left off.
I know that's sacrilege for podcasts.
No, it's actually kind of fire because I'll keep it in and it's just like it makes it super raw and it's just like
tight.
Picked up where we left
Very
off.
tight.
Insomniac.
Speaking of the insomnia thing, like so I slept like shit last night and I was like literally out on your beanbag, fucking like just yawning. Like could have taken a nap, probably wouldn't have, not successfully. But and now that we're talking, lit up, infinite energy.
It's a mind. Well, I think sometimes there's a flip in our mind that like we can, without even knowing it, it's like a superpower in us. Like when you got here around 5, you guys got here probably around 5:30. I was already like, if you told me I had to go to like lay down, I probably would have passed out. Right. I just get up super early. But I also hype myself up and I go, yo, you have to execute on this podcast. Right. Banged out 20 push-ups, came in here, fucking here we go. I could go for 3 hours at this point.
Well, it sounds like more like you willed that energy into yourself, you know?
I think everybody can wield it in them, though.
I think some people better than others. But for me, I'm like very externally energized. So like social interaction, good conversation, stimulation will wake me up. So
fair.
So I'm like awake now.
So you're awake. Yeah, I don't know what the key is to people that can't fall asleep. I think that's like I've had those moments, don't get me wrong, but I think it's because I literally wake up at 5:30 and I keep myself busy until really 7-8 o'clock at night. Then I'll watch an hour or two of Netflix, like slow down. 9:30 lights out, I'm passed out.
Yeah, I can do the same thing. I can do this. I can literally fucking run 100 goddamn miles and probably still not fall asleep.
So the young Forrest Gump.
It's yeah, dude.
Young Tom Hanks.
Yeah, I'm just cursed with whatever it is. But that's another one of my fucking life goals, dude, is to be successful financially enough to do all of the experiments on myself and then share my results with the world to cure my insomnia.
What do you mean experiments?
Just like go try every treatment all over the world, different doctors, psychiatrists, hypnosis, everything, dude. Like, and see if I can cure my insomnia.
If money was never an issue for the rest of your life, how would you live your life differently today?
Honestly, probably not that different. If money wasn't an issue, I think I'd take a few more vacations because I don't vacation and I don't take time off. unless my body
Why
physically
not?
needs it. I can't relax, man. And honestly, I don't like to do shit. There's not many things I like to do. I like to work and accomplish things. I like interacting with people and connecting on an intellectual and emotional levels. I like to be in love and hang out with girls and be affectionate. I like to make music. And that's literally it. I fucking like, this is a thing.
You ever
that
feel burnout though?
Yeah. And that's when I'll take a day off and then I'm fine. Okay. But again, like I said, I'm used to being exhausted. So like, I just know how to power through. But yeah, I can't like, dude, I get anxiety if I have to sit down and watch a fucking movie and I don't like if the movie is not particularly entertaining and stimulating to me, I feel miserable. I feel like I'm wasting my fucking time. It's very uncomfortable.
Yeah,
for
I'm
me.
the same way now at this point in my life. If I'm watching something and I'm not catching on.
Yeah, I got to
move
do
on to
something
the
else.
next. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't, dude. Like, I fucking hate hiking. I cannot hike. It doesn't do whatever it does that restores other people, like 99% of humans, doesn't work on me.
Yeah.
I'm like, let's fucking sprint up this bitch and sprint down, or else I'm out. Why are we taking a stroll through the woods? Like, I don't give a fuck.
That's good. You recognize what stimulates you, what you enjoy, and I think that is literally, you're self-aware of yourself.
But it also makes me kind of a social fucking outcast.
No, it doesn't.
Well, it does.
I don't
like
hike in
to
LA.
do shit.
I've never been on one hike in LA. I lived here for 3 years. So it's like, yeah, okay.
But if you did it, do you think you'd enjoy it?
I'd have to be with a good group of people.
So, okay, see, that's the thing.
If I had a beautiful girl and she said, let's go for a hike.
100%.
We climbing Everest?
I said that
I'll
to
do
a
it.
girl, and then when we first met, and then she came to visit me, and she's like, what do you want to do? I was like, I don't know, we go for a hike or something. She's like, what? I thought you hated hiking. I was like, dude, you're beautiful, and I like spending time. I was like, I'll do anything with you. Like, I don't give a fuck. So agreed.
Yeah.
But I'm notorious around like my circle of friends and roommates for not liking to do shit that everybody wants to do.
That's fair though. I like being. Depends on what it is, but I'm not against being just chill, content. Mm-hmm. Dylan out here, he's the most low key, even keel guy.
Dylan is blessed. His whole just like aura is perfect, dude. He's great.
He's straight chilling.
Yeah, the
me,
definition
me and him very much balance each other out for
he
sure.
Is chill in human form, dude. It's crazy. Yeah, I could see that. But yeah, I'm like you, man. I'm just fucking buzzing. I just want to like get shit done. You know what I'm saying? And also part of that is a healthy like fear of like being unsatisfied with my future. You know,
Constantly, always.
I can't
working.
accept that.
Yeah,
I can't accept that reality. I won't. So like, I need to accomplish what I have to accomplish.
Speaking of future, you're about to move.
Thinking about it.
Wait. I thought you said you were moving. You pulling back?
Yeah, that's not like off limits. I'm totally down to talk about anything. It's just there's some family shit, like
gotcha.
like the reasons like I'm waiting on that.
Totally.
Out of respect for them, and also it'd probably just bum the listeners out.
Totally.
So
okay.
So I want to stay here, but I might need to move. If I do move, it'll just be for like a year, and I'll come back.
Okay, that's fair.
So,
but you did move recently within LA. That was how long ago did you move to?
A year ago. I moved from.
You were in
South
our neck of the
Bay.
woods.
Yeah,
dude, you were in our neck of the woods.
Yeah,
so we
it's
moved
10
to this
minutes away.
side, and then now
and we exchanged, and I moved way closer to you guys.
Yeah.
I moved like 10, 15 minutes
Silver
from
Lake?
where you guys used to live. Yeah.
Overall, you like it though?
Silver Lake is great because it has all the amenities that I want, and it's hip and like whatever. It's got all the like the bougie coffee shops, and there's like tons of great food in restaurants, and generally there's like young hip people. But I like that. And the funny thing is I don't leave my fucking house, so it's like, who cares if it's there?
Even pre-COVID?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm very like a hermit. You know, I just work.
I mean, for the type of work that you do, you don't really have to leave,
Right.
which is kind of a blessing.
But I like to know all the shit's there. It makes me feel good to know, right?
Yeah, if
It's
you want
right
to go for a
outside my
stroll,
door.
get a nice little coffee,
Exactly.
change it up.
But there's a lot of fucking hip people in Silver Lake, and they make me mad just looking at them.
What do you mean?
The people, the dudes with the fucking like the hats, the flat brimmed, like nice, like they're not fedoras, but they're like, you know what I'm saying? Like, fine, if I get to know them, like maybe we'll be best friends. But I don't like the way you look, and it makes me mad that you exist.
Oh, come on. You're judging
There's
a book by its cover?
Yeah, 100%.
Wow.
I know I said if we met,
Wow.
they might be my best friend. But but they all are just like, here's what it is. That outfit is them trying to be unique. But the funny fucking thing is they're all dressing in the same unique outfit. So they're not fucking
Talk
unique.
to him, brother.
No, I can't.
It's interesting. It's interesting
can't.
you're saying
I'm
that
antisocial.
because the solo pod that I have coming out tomorrow, it's about building an authentic community. And I talk about 5 things that I keep in mind when I'm trying now in my life to build community in LA. Neglected that for 2.5 years.
Right.
Now putting a lot of time into it.
I don't want to ruin it, but I kind of want to know what they are.
No, we're not going to go through all 5.
Okay.
You can go listen to it. It'll be out by now. It'll be episode
I'll just
30.
ask you after this.
Or you can ask me after this. One of them that I feel strongly about is make zero assumptions about people.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you're seeing that person, I've done it before, where I see somebody wearing something and I have all these triggers
notions
running through my mind thinking, you're wearing this, you have to be this type of person, your beard's this way, you're this type of person, those shoes say this, the way you're walking, that backpack, I make
you got beard
beef. Yeah, beard beef. I'm the greatest in the land, so it's all good. But I have all these things that I start assuming that's who they are, which will either hold me back from introducing myself or it'll inspire me to introduce myself because I see them wearing a Boston t-shirt. So I'm like, yo, you're from Boston? What's the deal? So whatever. But I've committed to myself and I've been trying to recently to make literally, we all talk about it. Don't judge a book by its cover. But in reality, we still do it. And I'm trying to never allow myself to do that because you don't know the full story. And I learned this through podcasting. There's a girl I interviewed, did all the research, did all my due diligence to understand. She came in, I thought one thing about her life, and we went down a rabbit hole on some gnarly shit that had happened in her childhood. And it was like one of those moments like, oh, okay, I don't know shit about anybody. And just because she's this beautiful girl that said yes to do this podcast doesn't mean that she just has a beautiful life.
Right.
She came from a really fucked up childhood. And so it changed the way I saw people and not assuming that I know everything about their story. So I challenge you that when you see that dude wearing that hat, you think about the story behind why he's wearing it. Maybe it's a confidence thing. Maybe he's insecure.
It is. I promise you it's a confidence thing. I promise you he's insecure because he's wearing a stupid fucking hat. No, listen. Okay. No, if I'm being real, I'm
Please.
telling you, bro, look, I have all these assumptions and I'm 100% aware of them. And I know that in all likelihood, they're probably way off. So I don't, like, if I ever interact with homie, like, I'm not going to be an asshole. I'll always be nice and try to be open and be like, yo, like, is there anything I could benefit from getting to know this guy? I promise you, in practice.
Okay.
But the fucking hater, outcast, black sheep comic who was never a comic in me wants to just fucking hate for fun. But I promise you, I'm not that way when it comes to reality.
Yeah, you're not the type of guy that would actually call somebody out and say some bullshit. If it came down to it and you were introduced, you'd be. I'm sure you'd be a gentleman. And
yeah, and then later after we're friends, I'll tell him I hate your fucking hat. Yeah. But like but yeah,
then the reality comes out.
Yeah,
then the truth.
Yeah, I mean, dude, don't. Okay, look, and I know. I'm just saying. I know it's not a good habit. Come on, aren't there like articles of clothing or trendy things that people do that you just roll your fucking eyes? Like it's just a reflex when you see them.
It is, but
can you just give me one?
It is.
Can you just hate with me for a second,
like,
just for fun?
Can I think of an example?
Yeah. Just for a second.
Hold on. I'm not.
By the way, I have friends who dress that way. I do have friends.
Okay, one for me, not a fan of it is the whole like satchel. It never really caught on my wave.
Me neither.
But like I said, I'll see something and I'll be like, that shit's corny. And I'll admittedly, it takes time. It's like reps at the gym. You have to practice. I'll literally go, why are you, like, it doesn't matter to you.
Dude, the thought that follows the hating thought every single time is beating myself up for having that thought. So I'm aware. I'm always like, dude, why are you so fucking negative? Don't be a hater. God damn.
God damn. Yeah, we got these voices.
I'm a judgy fuck.
Yeah,
but I also,
we all
try to rein it in.
It's probably because we all have phones and we're constantly consuming shit all the time.
How do you mean?
Like, when we step into the world, yes, we're seeing things, but like, think about when you're chilling at your house and you're flipping through Instagram, like you're consuming so much happening in real time, trends, music, news, like we're just constantly assessing things in real time that I think it's just trained us to do that.
I think I'm just an asshole, but I see what you're saying. Yeah. I agree. I know what you're saying.
You could say if you want to be an asshole. I don't think you're an asshole for it. I think you're just confident enough to talk about it because most people have the same thoughts and just keep it to themselves. They don't really voice it about it.
Yeah, that's probably for the best.
It is for the best.
But yeah, so Silver Lake.
Shout out to Silver Lake one time.
It's cool, but
you were in Torrance though before, right?
It's fucking annoying.
Were you in Torrance?
Yes, I was in Torrance.
Yeah, you were. It's so funny to me when I talk to somebody that lives out here in LA because it's like from where I am to where you live on an average day it probably took you 30 to 40 minutes to get here.
45 minutes.
Unreal.
Yeah. Pre quarantine though, that could have been 90 minutes. Could have been
I would not have said, yo, come through at 7. I would have said there's no chance. You would have had to leave at fucking 5 p.m. to even potentially get here at that time.
Riveting podcast talking about traffic in LA.
Unreal.
Such a fucking
LA.
groundbreaking right now.
So LA.
We're so fucking LA.
I love it because we just talk about anything that we want. That's the best thing about this podcast.
But this area, do you venture out at all? We're in Hawthorne.
I live in Hawthorne, but I'm so much more west side now.
Right.
I'm in Venice every weekend, Santa Monica, Manhattan Beach.
Well, I don't know that much about Hawthorne. I don't think Hawthorne's hood. Not that I would know, but it's kind of a little bit.
It's getting gentrified. Which means there's a lot of money getting floated in here, which is going to push people out. But we're right on the
good and bad
western line of Hawthorne and Manhattan Beach. So pretty much most of the things that I do is probably more towards Manhattan, or I go to Venice 20 minutes.
Also, SpaceX is here.
Pretty badass.
Yeah, that's cool.
It was a big plus when I signed the lease.
Just knowing that SpaceX is right here. Just knowing that Elon Musk,
gnarly.
In all likelihood, is pretty close to you on a daily basis.
No, it's not.
He's 2 miles away.
He's 2 miles away all the time.
Yeah, you could hit him with a football.
Definitely. It's fucking gnarly, dude. I drive by Tesla because it's Tesla and SpaceX there.
Yeah.
Both their HQs are there. It's like, yo, this is gnarly.
I used to do jiu-jitsu with this guy who worked at SpaceX, and I would always like ask him questions, and he got really annoyed at me, and he wouldn't roll with me anymore. Like when I would go to do jiu-jitsu, because I was such a fucking nerd. And
no, that's gnarly. You just want to know.
Yeah, but I was annoying about it. I think I was doing it as a bit. I was being annoying because I thought it was funny, but there's no audience, so I was just being annoying.
Just like, this guy's just being annoying for no reason.
Yeah. Anyway,
respectful.
Not that was on time.
If you had to get a tattoo today, what would you get?
Well, my whole philosophy about getting tattoos.
I know it.
You know it.
There's no plan.
There's no plan. I go into the shop and I think of something on the spot. But we had our homie Samurai come over and do. Have you seen this one?
No.
I'm gonna take out my pants and show you right now, and I'll let you read it out loud.
Hold up. Watch that.
Hold on. Hopefully my wiener's not out. Can you read upside down?
What does that say?
It says, get shredded. Number 1, get shredded. Number 2, get rich. Number 3, get married. Number 4, change the world.
Wow.
Super corny.
No, that's gnarly.
But
how did you? What inspired you to do that?
I wanted to get a list of goals on me, but I didn't want to like be so specific that the goals might change, and then I'd have a dumb tattoo that meant absolutely nothing, that wasn't practical. So I just was thinking about what are the 4 things I want more than anything, and how can I be like super general, just generic about it. So
how do you want to change the world?
That I don't know yet. But my point in saying that is that, not that I'm egotistical enough to think that I could have an impact on the entire world. I just mean change some part of the world. Is that eventually I'll get, I think, because this is the path that a lot of ambitious people go, is eventually you get bored and unfulfilled with all the self-serving, selfish accomplishments. At some point, I think I won't be fulfilled by selfish success, and I'll need to accomplish something that benefits a ton of other people and not me directly. And so that's why so I don't know yet, but I'm confident that I'll get to the point where I'll be like, I have to do something for the world. I can't just keep making money for myself.
Yeah. There's something about helping other people, that feeling is right. It just feels priceless. When even in a small scale, when I'm connecting 2 people together and I'm literally not benefiting from the transaction whatsoever from connecting the 2 dots, I feel fucking good.
Right.
Because I helped people.
Yeah, it feels good.
To the point where it's like somebody's like trying to start something, I give them advice.
It's built in. I think if we go back, my fucking idiot caveman guess is that like if you chase it back all the way to like survival instincts, like written into our whatever code, biological code, is that it is perpetuation of the species, like survival. Helping others makes humankind last longer, survive longer. So I think that's why it has that trigger, and that's why everyone feels good when they help someone. Yeah, like it's built in. You know? And
the energy kind of just continues to free flow.
Right,
and it gives off to.
I think people. Whoever engineered us built that into the system. You know. So yeah, that's what that fucking means. So the tattoo question, I don't know. Was that just off the top?
Well, I know you got a lot of tattoos, so I definitely wanted to ask.
There's ones I have on my mind, but I can't remember them right now.
I love your thought process. You just walk in, you go, yo, this is what I want.
Yeah, they're fucking. I literally thought of all these ones that I just got, like 30. And then
what's the 30 for?
This one right, just because I'm 30.
Are you?
Yeah.
Yeah, you look good for 30.
Thanks, man.
Like, you're in your
Appreciate
prime,
you, bro.
bro.
I think it's just because I'm super inappropriate, and so it makes me seem younger. But yeah, 30, and then hard to explain, like just these stupid fucking things you just get, bro. Like I got my dad's initials on my back.
Wow.
And like he thinks it's because, you know, like I'm honoring him, but it's just because like the letters looked cool and I needed something to put on my back. So I'm just kidding, Pop. I'm just kidding. I love you. It was to honor you.
I love that.
What about you?
I just got that one.
What's that say?
Keep going.
Oh, it's great. Dude, that is fucking genius because that is always good advice no matter what.
You ready for this? Ask me what the font name is.
What's the font name?
Beyond Infinity.
No fucking way.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's fucking serendipitous. Well, I mean, you thought about that, right?
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
I didn't intentionally go, I need to find a font called Beyond Infinity.
No, I know.
Weirdly,
it just was the one.
Weirdly, there was 2 fonts down to the wire.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just casually looked at the names, and of the 2, this was the first one. I caught the name, and I just like, this is it. I didn't even look at the second one. I was like, this is the one. Beyond Infinity. There it is.
Love it, dude. That's a great tattoo. See, those are the things I fuck with.
Yeah.
I like that.
I got options. I have ideas for more, but my tattoo art is just slammed, so it's probably gonna be.
Do you have one that you can just off top right now?
What?
One of the ones you want to get?
Yeah. I want to get the past podcast guest I had. The internet knows him as Charlie Rocket. He's at Charlie on Instagram, and since I met him, and since before that, he is big. His big movement is winning streak, and so what he talks about is how he has consciously programmed his mind to every single day look for the wins. So like when he goes to Starbucks and he buys a cup of coffee and he gets that cup of coffee, that's a fucking win.
Mm-hmm.
When he gets a workout in, that's a win. When he talks to his mom, that's a win. When he writes one page of a book, that's a win. He has consciously programmed his mind to just look for the wins. And so he just, I should have he had a tattoo party in Venice the other week, and I wasn't totally sold on getting the tattoo. It wasn't until after
That's
that I was
such
like,
a
this
fucking
is it.
LA
But
Venice
it's
party to have.
tight. Yeah, it was like
I'm for it.
It was like it was like a
just so you know,
it was a big hype thing. Anyway,
Yeah.
so I want to get winning streak on my leg right here, and then at the end of streak, the K will come out into a rocket ship.
So tight.
Yeah.
Fuck with it. Love it.
I want to get Massachusetts outlined here. That's my home state.
Yeah, no doubt.
And then I want to get something that represents my sister and my parents.
Love it.
But I don't know what it's
Can't
gonna
go wrong
be.
with
Maybe some
family.
flowers or something like beautiful.
I would like to. I'm interested to see if his like mentality and overall mood or outlook has changed since like trying to do that. Like if before he implemented the only like or to recognize all the wins consciously, if his mood or experience or outlook on life has changed since before and
It probably has. You got to look this dude up after. He's
Okay.
like. I mean, he has a winning streak tour happening around the country right now.
Oh,
He
really?
has a tour bus the whole night.
he's the fucking guy.
He used
Okay.
to be 2 Chainz manager.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You know what? This sounds familiar.
Charlie CEO Charlie used to call him.
I don't know why this sounds
Yeah.
familiar. Like,
You've seen him on Instagram.
Okay.
He's been on recently on Impulsive Podcast. He's been on some other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
He just started posting literally like the last 2 days. People that follow him DM'd him and said, "Hey, my mom is a director at Starbucks. They want to talk to you," because the whole story in the movement has started around the Starbucks story. That he says the first thing I do every day is I go get my coffee at Starbucks, and when I get that coffee at Starbucks, he goes into like a whole rap. Oh baby, they don't even know what they hand me. That started my
Okay,
winning
all right.
streak, and now they want to make a drink called the winning streak.
Oh, I follow.
Supposedly,
Duh,
so
okay,
we'll
good
see if it
for him.
happens.
Maybe
Yeah.
you just ruined it by fucking.
He's posting on
Outing
Instagram.
it? Okay.
No,
I'm just
he's
kidding.
posting on Instagram.
I'm just kidding.
He's-
Oh, yeah, this is- yeah,
he's
he
posting
didn't tell
on
you
his
this
actual
directly.
feed,
Gotcha.
so it's
Okay.
totally out there.
Word.
What's an area of your life you want to work on, put more effort into?
Family probably.
It's the fucking hardest one. Literally, why I started the podcast right there
What's that?
about moms.
Oh
That's just
yeah,
one
right.
That's just one example, but
Yeah.
family in general is like
my mom and I talk like daily and if not like twice a day.
Damn, that's pretty good. See, I'm
We're so fucking
that's
close.
good.
So close. I mean, she makes it easy. It's not like okay, I gotta set time aside to call my mom. It's like every time
You
I call
her,
my mom,
do you text her?
It's like calling my best friend. We talk mostly on the phone, like as opposed to texting. We text too, but I mean, dude, I got lucky as fuck because my mom and I relate to each other.
Yeah.
Like it's not like talking to your parent and finding common ground. We are just naturally on common ground.
Yeah.
She's like my homie. So in that, out of all my friends I know, I don't know anyone who has that relationship with their parents. So I feel like extremely lucky.
Yeah.
Same with my dad. I have a very similar relationship with my dad. So I'm lucky in that way.
Yeah. I feel very fortunate. I definitely have a very similar relationship with my parents. I can say anything that I want. I'll tell them the night after, I'm like, I got banged up or I did this, or I just tell them literally everything. Oh, I went on a date with this girl, blah, blah. Like, it's just like.
Do you guys talk about sex?
Nah,
because
I'll tease my pops. Like I don't go into the details, but I'll tell him like shit that happened recently. He's like, "You make me proud."
Okay, well, with my mom, we're cool. Like, oh my god, we've talked about detailed shit just like out of like necessity before. Like, I've been in sticky situations where I've been like flipping out about sexual escapades, and she's needed to calm me down. So
define escapade. What does that mean?
Like when I thought I got a girl pregnant.
Oh, gotcha.
And I didn't. And she was having to calm me down, and she got really into detail about her past experiences to like calm me down. So she's willing to go there, but we're both, I think, a little bit. She's as uncomfortable as I am talking about like sex directly. Whereas with my dad, he just like volunteers too much information. He's too explicit about sex when he talks to me, and it grosses me out. But don't you feel bad for people who just like have parents and they have like a parent-child relationship? There's like a disconnect
through their whole life.
It's a bummer, dude.
Yeah,
because that's not normal to me.
Yeah,
you know?
I do. I feel very fortunate, and that's why.
So
but
lucky.
This is what I'm saying is like when I do talk to my parents, I'm very open and I'm very like thoughtful and I'm very like I tried to make it it's usually once a week on a FaceTime, but now I'm just like recognizing, I'm telling you that I've thought about it a lot recently, but just hearing it in that podcast, I'm like, are you going to go the rest of your life putting in minimal effort to your talk to your parents where it's just every Sunday on a FaceTime, or are you going to be more proactive and take just 15 minutes to call your mom?
Right.
So now I'm trying, they won't hear this, I know for a fact. So now, without them knowing it, I'm going to try making it a weekly thing which sounds so crazy to somebody like you where you're saying you're talking to your mom daily, which I fucking love, is at least calling my mom once a week separately and my father separately. Because usually I'm talking to them both on the same FaceTime.
Right. Oh,
like
that's nice.
Two birds, one stone.
Yeah.
I don't repeat myself like, what'd you do this weekend? Then what'd you do? So, yeah, I feel very fortunate, and you just fucking never know how things can go in life.
100%.
It's scary to think about. But
yeah,
I'm not somebody that lives in my life in fear, but I'm also like, don't dismiss the reality of
there's a happy medium.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying, for sure.
Balance.
Yeah, you can't live like you're gonna die tomorrow all the time.
Yeah,
but you also can't live like you're gonna live forever.
Totally.
You got to find the middle ground for certain, man. 100%.
Have you heard of have you came across this Instagram account called "We're Not Really Strangers"?
Yes, but I don't know what it is. It sounds familiar.
Cool. So it's this account on Instagram that's been getting shared a ton.
Is it people's stories?
Yeah. So there's a card game. So originated, it's a game. It's a game, and it's called "We Are Not Really Strangers." It's pretty much like a very intentional game about like opening up. We're not strangers based on these, and you ask each other questions. But you ever play Cards of Humanity?
Yeah.
Similar. You know how you like everyone throws in it's a funny game.
Yep.
This is but real life. Like this is like trying to get people to know people.
Okay.
So I
conversation starter.
Yeah.
Like,
so it's a huge Instagram account. It's getting shared a bunch. I just bought the game, but something I want to start.
This may be something different than I was thinking, but
I'll show you after. One thing I want to start implementing in the podcast is I pull a card before the guest gets here.
Oh, fuck yeah.
To ask a question, because I want it to be from I already pulled one. I already pulled it for you, and I already wrote it down.
Sick.
But I wanted, the other thing was not doing it in person, because I actually might do that at some point, but it's just like having the cards on spot, so it's kind of headache. Anyway, so the card that I pulled for you is, how would you describe the feeling of being in love in one word?
I will explain after why it's taking me so long. I almost want to look up the exact definition of the word that I want to use. Can I ask Siri real quick?
Let's go ahead.
All right, hold on. Let's see what's up. What is the definition of paramount?
Got the volume on?
Yeah, but it didn't. She's not talking.
Siri, talk to us.
Hold on. I think I have it. It's because of do not disturb. Okay, hold on. Hey Siri, what's the definition of paramount?
As an adjective, it means more important than anything else, supreme.
You know what's fucking weird about that? My other word was supreme.
Ooh.
I was bouncing back and forth between paramount and supreme because more important than anything else. So paramount is my word.
Paramount.
It's my favorite thing far above anything else in life is being in love. And that's why it was really hard for me to pick the word because it is literally the most important thing to me in the world.
To be in love, do you mean with specifically a significant other or do you mean love in general?
What was it again? Was it in love?
Oh yeah. How do you describe the feeling of being in love? So that's very
paramount.
much, yeah.
More important than anything else. It's what drives literally every single thing I do. Everything. Like any ambition I have to be a better version of myself, to stay in shape, to be healthy, to be brutally self-aware and honest and critical of myself, to achieve things, to be financially stable, to be as good of a person I can to like outwardly to other people. It is all for the romantic relationship that I want in my life. And that's also why I don't date casually, is because I want the serious thing. And so,
but how do you find the serious thing if you're not dating casually?
Because I meet people, but what I mean is I think there's a lot of people who will meet someone that they are attracted to and have a really good time with and go like, all right, let's give this a go. And then they get into a relationship and they date. For me, it's like, no. If I don't think like, oh my God, I might marry you, I'm not even going to date you. I've had, in my adult life, I've had 2 relationships.
How have you...
2 girlfriends.
How did you adjust to dating / meeting girls given a pandemic?
It was no different because, and honestly, this is my bad, because I'm a hermit and because I have access to girls through the Holdup, which was, my old, for people, I don't know, is anyone going to listen to this that doesn't? Yeah, probably. Which was my old artist name. Instagram, man. Here's the fucked up thing is all my like all the girls that are my age that are my friends all think that I'm into young girls, and I tell them, I'm like, no, bro. It's because my direct access is to girls between the ages of 18 and 23 because that's like my fan base.
Oh.
And those are the girls that I meet all the time. They DM me and we strike up, and it's not like they're hoes or I'm fucking taking advantage of them. I just strike up casual Instagram correspondence with them, and we get to know each other. Back and forth in the DMs, you know what I'm saying? And if they're attractive, like eventually we hang out and then we like, whatever.
That's good. Oh.
And then, yes, it has happened. I've dated fans.
I love that you said correspondence.
It's an accurate word, but it just made it sound more like adult and pure.
100%.
So anyway,
so it hasn't changed, just sliding through.
Why did I start saying
pandemic,
that?
Falling in love,
pandemic.
meeting girls.
Oh yeah, so it hasn't changed because I never met girls in real life. Anyway, it was always just girls that I met through Instagram, mostly fans.
Has there been any big takeaways from the pandemic for you personally?
Yes, and it's one that Joe Rogan repeats ad nauseum, and I love the way he phrases it. He said, we think we live in this society under this facade that the whole world is like this genius, well put together, well thought through structure and the system that runs flawlessly and we're all safe and protected. And he's like, and then something like the pandemic hits and you find out it's just a machine that's made of bubble gum and cotton candy. That's all that's holding everything together. We don't know. We have no fucking clue what we're doing. Human beings are we are the dominant species, but we're not the most important thing. Nature, the way the universe works, the ecosystem, the planet, like we don't mean anything. And if we're fucking that up, it's probably going to take us out.
Yeah.
So that, nature can survive. So that's what I took away from it, is that our entire species could be gone tomorrow.
Yeah. I mean, when this first kind of hit back in March when I had some downtime to think about it, what I was thinking about was like how privileged I've been for 26 years of my life to never have had to really dealt with anything to this scale. Like we had the Iraq war. I was still there. I mean, we've had things happen in the last 26 years that involve the U.S. And I'm speaking from the perspective of growing up in Massachusetts, white kid, very fortunate to have a roof over my head. I was privileged in the sense of never having to deal with any true trauma or hardship. Mm-hmm. And so then this happens and you go, there's so much, like my grandparents have seen so much in their lifetime.
Dude, that was actually the first thing that I said when this happened. I'm sorry. I did say that. Part of me was, and I said this casually, I don't know if I really meant this. I was like excited to go through something as a country because, and actually I did mean that, and I'll explain why that's not a fucked up thing to say. Because we'd never been through anything in our lifetime. Like there's all these wars and the Depression, the Great Depression, and all these things that people have to go through that build character. You know what I'm saying? And our lives have been fucking super sweet and perfect. We're soft as baby shit, bro. Yeah. Our generation is fucking soft, and we're still soft even after this pandemic. But I was like, damn, because I read a book called Tribe by Sebastian Junger, and in part of the book he talks about how. Essentially just one of the statistics he talks about is how like during the World War II, I think World War I and II, the mental health rates went like plummeted during wartime because everybody had to come together as a community to everybody had the same goal, and it was to survive and get through this war. There was no more classes, like separate social classes. There was no more like I need to like us trying to be successful in our careers. It's like, no, everybody's lives are at risk. So everybody in the country is band together by this one common cause. And as a result, people looked back kind of shamefully on wartime, like fondly. And the whole statistic about mental health, sorry, I'm going on a rant, mental health rates dropping was because we lack that sense of community. We're also fucking separated. That sometimes these tragedies are good for us as a society. Yeah. Because we forget that we are all fucking in this together. Yeah. And when we have this one common threat to our livelihood, we kind of band together. So anyway, sorry, that was kind of like what you were talking about. Mm-hmm. But yeah, we're super fortunate. We've never gone through anything like that. Yeah. And this is the first thing.
It's fucking gnarly.
But it seems like you're doing fucking great, dude. I think we're so lucky still.
I mean, I am very fortunate when I say this, but I've definitely, the first couple months were rough for me, trying to just like, in my little world that I live in, but I am coming out of this fucking pandemic better than ever. I've just had so much time to like sit and think and be in my thoughts and think about, where am I going? Stopping podcasting and creating for pretty much 10 months felt like my identity was taken from me, but I was also transitioning. Yeah, I was also transitioning into a brand new career opportunity, which has been incredible. Changed my life overnight. So it needed to happen. The timing was great. I literally had already planned to put Purpose in the Youth on pause. I was 3 weeks out with content, and then I was going to put the show on pause. And literally the week after the last podcast, it was already prepped to rolled out. I started the job the next week at Liquid IV. So it was like, it couldn't have been better timing. Wow. And I had planned that before I even had the communication about talking about the job. So it was like serendipity, and it just was meant to happen. Anywho, so I feel like now that I've found this again, my voice, and like having something to work on when I'm not working on work, then also like I'm restating what I already said earlier, but like throwing myself out there in LA dating, finding community, trying new hobbies, picking up surfing, had my parents send out my golf clubs. I feel like I'm like very well balanced in every bucket of my life right now. And I feel very fortunate because for the last 3 years, it has been heavy on one side and very light on the other. And now it's like I'm making sure, and I'm able to do this because there's no booze pulling energy. I'm 100% equally divided, 20% in, what I would call the 5 buckets of balance.
That's big time, man. That's big time.
So I feel good. Feel very fortunate. Before we wrap this up, because I could literally spend literally 2 hours more to speaking with you. So we'll definitely do another podcast sometime soon. What's a challenge for the listeners that listen today? How can you challenge the listeners to do something today, tonight, whenever they decide to listen to this? What's something actionable that they can do that will benefit their lives?
Imagine a future that actually makes you excited about it, and then write down exactly what that future looks like. Like, write that shit down so that you know, and then work backwards. How can you, just because I talk to people who hit me up on my text all the time, the fans, because I got this community thing where everybody can text me, all the fans, and a lot of people ask me, they're like, yo, like, what do you recommend? Like, a lot of people dealing with depression, they're like, how the fuck do you get yourself going when you're feeling that depressed? And I'm like, dude, one thing that will absolutely help anyone, people with depression or not, I think, is just like imagining a future that makes you happy. I think a lot of people just passively go through life trying to accomplish the next step. And it's like, bro, think about the future that you actually want to accomplish. I want to throw up right now because I sound like every fucking self-help person, like whatever. No, you don't. But, like, think about the future, like, with no influence, just what would excite you, what life to live, and then write that out and then work backwards on how you can accomplish that, you know? And if it's too fucking crazy, like you want to live on a spaceship and you want to eat fucking ice cream for 3 meals a day, like, dial it back, adjust, you know, something attainable. But I think a lot of people feel lazy and hopeless because they haven't done that. They're not, like, working towards a long-term thing, you know, passively. They don't realize that's why they're lacking energy. But I think the reason that I have energy to do all the things I have to do is because I actually wholeheartedly believe that I can achieve this life in the future that I want, you know? And I just think that's not for ambitious people. That's for fucking everyone, you know? Like, knowing what you want in the future is for everyone. Totally. There's so many, like, little things I would say, but that's just the one that came to mind first.
And just to go off,
and exercise. I'm sorry, fucking get those endorphins, dude. That is my one fucking piece of medicine that works no matter what.
Totally. And anytime that you, as you're about to venture onto this podcast journey, which is going to give you that medium to keep sharing your voice, anytime that you have that, and I doubt you'll have that moment, but similar to what you just had, like, oh, I don't want to sound like the guru, the preachy, blah, 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 the motivational speaker. Think of it in terms of like this. Your health, fitness guy, you love to work out. You do that daily, right? You have to do that daily in order to maintain progress and get better. It's the same thing when it comes to speaking in that realm of like motivation and inspiration. People need to hear that shit 100 times, and they need to hear it from every
That's a good point. Person. We talked about this last time on the podcast, I think.
We might have. We probably did.
It's a good point.
But you have to continuously hear, and it's like we just talked about earlier. It took that one conversation. It takes one conversation for the light bulb to click, but it all comes down to the mood you're in that day, the timing, the environment you're in. Are you by yourself? Are you with friends when you're listening to that podcast, or when somebody says something to you? You need to hear it over and over and over. Or the
person you hear it from.
And that's the other thing. You need to
Maybe they've heard it before, but they didn't hear it from the right person.
And the way they communicate it to you means more than it would have meant.
I guarantee I've heard life-changing advice that changed my life for a million times before it finally changed my life. I just didn't hear it from the right person.
Or you weren't ready to hear it and consume it and actually put action to it.
Because I probably heard Tony Robbins fucking say something.
Totally.
And then until I heard someone I relate to say it, I didn't believe it.
It's always hard to hear it from people that are at that level and scale, because you're like, I'm never going to be that person.
Right.
Or you
just don't identify. They're different than me.
You don't connect.
They don't know what works for me, you know?
But there's people that similar age or are inspired by you, and so it means more to them. So I would say keep sharing that energy through the podcast.
Appreciate you, dude.
Through anything
That's great.
else.
And you as well.
I ain't gonna stop, baby. Any last words? Any last comments?
Any last words? That's a scary thing to say.
And then it goes into my whole like
kill me right now.
No. I'll end the podcast. Comments? But any last comments? Thoughts, feelings?
No, just other than, dude, like, as a testimonial to you, like, there are very few people that I have these conversations with and I feel so good about that, like, energize me like this. So you got a good thing here, dude. And not that my opinion means anything, but like, I'm stoked on it.
Well, so I appreciate that, and
I look forward to this. That's why anytime you like hit me up for a podcast, immediately it's a yes. Yes, that's fun for me.
Let me just say this. This got me fired up. When I had texted you about, I was like, yo, when is your podcast gonna come out? And you said it's coming out soon. And then I was like, yo, also I'm starting this new podcast. We should get it in. You said I'm potentially moving, but if I did, I'm happy to catch a flight. And I was like, this man's about to catch a flight.
I meant it 100%. I would hop on a plane just to come down here and fucking do the podcast.
No, that means a lot, man.
100%.
That means a lot to me.
No doubt.
Where can people find you on social media if they don't already follow you? It's at Mike Garmany.
At Michael Garmany.
At Michael Garmany.
MichaelGarmany. Garmany is like Germany, but with an A instead of an E.
Ooh.
So at Michael Garmany, and then Michael Garmany on all music platforms.
Easy.
And then the podcast is the Michael Garmany Podcast.
Easy.
So,
go check it out.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you enjoyed this podcast today, make sure you screenshot this episode, post it to your Instagram story, tag at Michael Garmany.
You assholes better fucking do it.
You better
dude.
do it or he's going to be pissed. Tag me at Bob, B-O, 3 B's, 4 A's, and a Y, and share this podcast out to the world and let people know why you listened, what you learned, and why they should listen too. That's how we spread this podcast from the ground up.
Motherfuckers, you better fucking do it.
Better do it. Michael Garmany.
Oh, man.
Thanks for coming in today, brother.
No doubt.
We'll talk to you guys soon enough. See ya.